Alright, what's going on, guys? John Zoo back with another video. This time we're going to be talking about Generation 9. Yes, Scarlet and Violet is coming out in less than a week at this point. Now, here's the thing. We have gotten a plethora of leaks. Shout out to CentraLeaks. Shout out to Smogon for gathering other leaks for us here that came out of mostly CentraLeaks. And other players and other leakers, whatever they dropped and everything. So there's a ton of things that have been coming out about this generation. If you have stayed away from the Twitterverse, God bless your soul. I don't know how you could have done it this long, because your boy has been sucked into all of the information, and quite frankly, it's like too much to keep up with. Like, honestly, like there's so many things that people are coming out about. Now, granted, not all of it. A lot of it has been debunked. Fun fact: I recorded a video just like this the other day and got debunked by Centro themselves. It's definitely like volatile at times, but now that we're coming closer and closer and closer to the game, a lot of it is turning out to be true, which is very, very scary, because some of the stuff that we're discovering is not entirely unbalanced, in my opinion. But there's things going on that we need to discuss before we discuss what we're going to do today. So, spoiler warning, fair warning, I'm letting you know right now, at this point in the video, going forward, we will be talking about things that will be spoiling the game for you. If you do already know, welcome on in, my friends. This is where we discuss our theories and ideas and what these implications might mean for this metagame coming up for VGC in Generation 9. If you don't want to be spoiled, you want to wait the 6 days that are left, I have no problem. I have nothing against you at all. Please, though, I would recommend you leaving. The exit is on your left, because we don't want to spoil it for anybody that doesn't want to be spoiled. So fair warning now. So, as we go forward, we have gotten an incredible amount of information, not only about starters, but about paradox mons, about new mechanics, about moves, new moves being removed, nerfs to certain mons and abilities, a little bit of some bulk ups, like I guess with some mons. Like, there are very few mons that get a bit better now in this future metagame that we're gonna have. And I'm honestly very curious on your thoughts. So, what we're going to discuss first is something I actually have kind of did in the last video I was trying to make. And it's about the starters. So, we're going to go over first their stats, their abilities, and discuss their signature moves, actually, because we do have information on all of those right here. It's not, the signature moves now aren't on here per se. However, what I think is quite interesting is that we do see, what we see in blue over here are the hidden abilities. Now, for starters, I think I'm going to work my way from bottom to top. And I did this last time, and I think I'll do it again because I think it's very fair. Because personally now, I'm a little bit biased, but I'm kind of loving Quaxley right now. I think Quaquavel, if I'm butchering its name, I probably am. Correct me in the comment section below, totally fine. But I love that it is going to be Moxie. If we get hidden abilities immediately out of the gate for VGC like Series 1 for Gen 9, I think this mon is going to be very, very good. The reason I say that is because let's see its stat pool. Like, I mean, sure, 85 base ACP is not like the hottest thing in the world, but it's not bad either. It's pretty good. 120 attack, this thing's awesome for that. And then we have 80 defense, 85 special attack, which I don't think is going to be really relevant. 75 special defense, which is like, you know, not the best, but you know, you can work with it. And then 85 speed. So this thing's basically the same speed tier as Rillaboom, right? And we remember Rillaboom back in the metagame. Rillaboom was an actual menace. Rillaboom was a nightmare. So I think that we definitely have something to work with here to discuss. One, at the fact that this mon gets Moxie, and think about now Terra. So you're thinking about a mon that has the typing of Urshifu, because it's water fighting. And I remember when Urshifu first came out, everybody was saying in Gen 8, when we had the DLC, that this mon would probably be the worst Urshifu. But come to find out, in non-max formats, water Urshifu dominated compared to Dark Urshifu, and was literally partnered with so many good things that let it be such a menacing threat. So I think this thing, obviously since it's not Water Urshifu's Unseen Fist ability, still could be a menacing threat because of Moxie and because of its signature move. So, and obviously Terra typing, because you can literally Terra Water this and give it an adaptability boost essentially, because it'll be ×2 water on all of its water moves. Now, friends, I said there was a lot of things that came out about these mons. So that's why we're only discussing the starters for right now, because there's a lot of ground to cover here. Because this Mon's signature move is actually kind of crazy. I did actually look at the bin for these Mons and their movesets, and they're all kind of wild. And the reason I say that is because when we go and pull and see what has already been kind of like data mined, that Centra already came out with. Shout out to Centra Leaks. But they had gathered a plethora of information that gives us move sets and move pools. And the signature move that we're talking about, or we will be talking about, it's called Aqua Step. Now, apparently, this move gives you a speed boost when it is used. So we're talking about Quaquaval not being the fastest thing in the world, but doesn't really need to be. Not having Moxie, and then getting a move that gives it a speed boost, that's Stab, and you can give it a ×2 boost when you Terra Water it. This Mon, in my opinion, is going to be incredibly, incredibly good. I don't know if it'll be good right away, but I think this Mon will be incredibly good, especially when it gets Moxie. If we see it right away, you know what? I think we have a very big threat to respect here in Quaquaval. I think I'm really butchering that name, but I think this Mon is going to be really, really good. Out of the three, in my opinion, I would probably rank them like at the moment from after I'm done breaking these down. I think even still before I finish the other two, I think this one is going to be my top one pick. But let's let you guys decide, and you guys let me know in the comment section below after we do this video, like, what do you think is going to be the top tier starter for us? Because we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to Fuecoco's evolutionary line. Now, Fuecoco's evolutionary line, I am not butchering the Croc. I'm just going to call him the Croc because he kind of looks like a skeleton like thing. It's really cool. So like, I guess that's what his name means. But anyway, Fire Ghost, interesting. Same typing as Chandelure. And as we look at it, it also has Unaware as its hidden ability, which is actually pretty interesting. I think this Mon is going to be kind of cool, especially since like now we see that it has bulk, like 104 HP is really good. It has really good defense and 100 defense. Special defense isn't the best thing. It's very similar to Quaquaval. 75 special defense, but it's got 110 attack, so this is going to be a special attacker mostly, and then 66 speed, so it's very slow, very bulky though. You definitely could, there's ways to get this thing kind of boosted up in a sense. If it gets Amnesia, I don't remember if it gets Amnesia. I do remember most of its move pool. I know it gets Slack Off, which is something I think is going to be really good for it since it's this bulky and slow, so it kind of could stall. The only downfall I think for this Mon is not its bulk, not even its signature move or its ability, because Unaware is actually really nice in non-max formats, but it's actually its typing. Fire Ghost is pretty bad in this meta, because if you look at the decks, there are a lot of Mons that can counter this thing kind of comfortably. Well, like, it depends. Like, it all depends on what you kind of Terra this if you want to use it. But like, I would say this is not the same level as Quaquaval, because like Quaquaval you could kind of see as more of an offensive Terra. If you Terra this, like, it's very defensive in my opinion, and you don't really get the offensive pressure you want unless you kind of set it up as a Trick Room sweeper. But like, I think it's possible, because its signature move, I can't remember it off the top of my head because I don't have the bin in front of me. I know it's called Torch Song, or I don't remember. I just know it has something to do with a torch, but I do know what it does. However, though I don't remember exactly the name, the torch signature move for this Mon gives it a special attack boost, which is really, really crazy, because now you're talking about bulking this thing out where it's like, all right, now you got to respect it as a threat, and it could heal itself. So like, this is the type of Mon where I'm like curious, like, is it going to be a Trick Room sweeper? Probably. It could definitely get some partners around it that could give it some more bulk with like special defense and even defense, or like something that could give it recovery, like a Mungus. with Pollen Puff. I think this mon could be interesting. The best Terra I think I would say for this thing to have, I was discussing this with a friend of mine, and I think Terra, you can argue Terra Dark maybe, because of like, you're not gonna get fighting moves because you're a ghost type, and then you obviously resist, you're immune to not immune, you resist ghost. And then like water moves don't hit you super effectively anymore. Ground moves wouldn't hit you super effectively anymore. But there might be better Terras for this. If you got better ideas for a Terra type for this thing to benefit from, with all of its bulk and its signature move getting its special attack boost, let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this is going to be a Trick Room sweeper? Do you think that there's a way to bulk it out with a right like balanced like fast and slow mode type team? Because that is a thing. And then like Unaware, like I said, it's really really good. To deal with mons that like to boost up, like Quaquaval for example, like granted, I don't think Quaquaval will mind going up against this, to be honest, if it gets boosted. But I do think its bulk is to be respected. I do think it has a bad typing, but with Terra, this mon could be kind of interesting. I think this mon is definitely viable in VGC if we get this Unaware ability as well, and then figure out what partners we want to put with this Croc. But let me know what you think. I also want to now talk about Meowscarada. All right, now hot take about this mon. This mon was the hot pick, right? Before we got all this info. I remember everybody, before we had any leaks from Central or anybody else, that when they saw Sprigatito, everybody fell in love with it. They thought it was going to be amazing. I remember months and months ago when we had the announcement of Gen 9, we started getting leaks about the starters because everybody wanted to know what they look like, what were they going to evolve into, what were their final evos going to be, what were their moves going to be, what were their abilities going to be. That the rumor was these exact typings that we see before us. So the rumors were correct. We do see a Grass Dark starter with Sprigatito's final evo, Fire Ghost with Fuecoco's, and Water Fighting with Quaxley. Now, the other rumor was that this thing was going to have a god tier ability. All right, because there was a rumor that its ability was going to be something that was going to work well with the mechanics, and potentially could be something that really could benefit from Terra typing. Now, I originally had started this video before about saying how Protein, right, before we even get into the stats, that Protein, which is its hidden ability, which is basically like Libero from Cinderace. So if you don't know what Libero did, basically changed your typing before you got to attack. So if Cinderace was a fire type right out the gate and he has high jump kick and he clicks high jump kick, you will turn into a fighting type before you hit your target and now get stabbed fighting because you're a fighting type now, which is really, really good for an ability for a mon, because it basically means you have like, if you have a plethora of move coverage, you will always have constant stab with a great like move pool, which means you don't really know what to expect for the most part. Like Cinderace moveset was kind of common after a certain point in the metagame for Gen 8. We saw Iron Head, high jump kick, bounce for Airstream, and Sucker Punch for Dark move. There was also like a 5th or 6th move slot syndrome it had with like you could run like some people ran Gunk Shot when people were playing like non-max max, so like one shot top affinities when we had that to deal with. You also could run like Strike and Giga Impact was kind of cool. There was a whole bunch of things, but like this is why like Protein and Libero for this seemed kind of crazy to me at first. The reason I say at first is that because though this mon has the ability Protein where it can change its typing before it hits its target, Protein and Libero have apparently been nerfed. So now it's only activated once, right? Which means that the moment you use this Protein, you kind of have to pivot out and never get to use it again. So it's like, it's really not as good anymore. They really made Meowscarada's hidden ability like just irrelevant in my opinion. Like you're better off running Overgrowth in my opinion because of that. Because the theory I had was with Greninja and this thing getting Protein was like, yo, what if these mons are coming back because they're trying to make them kind of broken with Terra? Because let's say that you can change your, you can Terra type, right? Let's say you Terra Grass your Meowscarada, for example. and then you have protein, and then you change your type. What if you can change your Terra type with the type that you're going to change as your protein? Wouldn't that doesn't that sound crazy? That sounds nuts. So it sounds broken, yes, and that would justify the rumor of it being god tier. However, now that they've nerfed this, it literally doesn't mean anything to us. I think it makes Meowscarada and Mons that get this ability, or like Libero, like Cinderace, just incredibly worse as far as for competitive goes. Like there might be some usage for protein, like where you would have to run a very niche strat, I think, to make it viable. But like again, it's still very difficult. But I do like Meowscarada nonetheless. I say all that to say that Meowscarada still, I think, is going to be a threat, because it has a really strong attack stat with 110 attack, and then we have 123 speed, and then we have obviously not very good bulk. But this Mon you can make this Mon work. I mean, you could slap an assault vest on this thing, I think, because I do know and have looked at its move pool, and it has some really good move coverage as far as like pivoting. It gets U-turn. It obviously is good to be a dark type, so like I see like taunt on it. You might not obviously run taunt with an assault vest, but there's different ways I think you can run this Mon because it has a array of move coverage, and also its signature move. So its signature move is a grass move. I believe the base power is 70. I might be wrong about that, but nonetheless, it's a grass move that always crits. So we kind of got like another move now that can crit all the time, like Urshifu. However, now it's going to be a grass move, which I think is really cool, because now you can Terra Grass this, get that 2 times boost, like its adaptability, and just I believe the move is Flower Gift, and the Flower Gift everything on the field and just crit them all. So like this thing, it sure, without protein it got a little bit worse, but now with that move, knowing that that's what it does, this thing's respected. You have to respect this thing now. Like, it's a pretty good Mon, even still with its hidden ability being nerfed like that. Like it definitely can hit really hard. I really like the adjustments they made to this Mon, considering that they're planning on nerfing the ability. So it's like we're gonna create a pretty strong Mon, but we're gonna nerf it down a little bit, because I think if they allowed us to have protein the way it used, like the way Libero worked in Gen 8, then yeah, that would have been absolutely toxic. I'm not even gonna lie. I think that would have been so broken. But nonetheless, now that we've gotten these 3 starters and we've covered them, what do you guys think about them? I think Quaquaval would probably be my #1 pick. Originally, I was a big Sprigatito fan. I was riding the Sprigatito fan bandwagon like the whole time, because I loved it, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. I think Meowscarada is going to be probably the #2 for me. I think it's still very good, even though its abilities, especially its hidden abilities, been nerfed. But the fact that its signature move can crit, and it has a very good move pool with, like, you know, being able to pivot with U-turn. I don't want to give away too much information on the movesets, because, like I said, a lot of things have been coming out and they can change. But yeah, I do think that this Mon is going to be interesting, and we probably could go over movesets if you guys want. So you guys, you know, let me know in the comment section below if you do want to see more of that on the next video, because there is something else that I think we're going to cover. Obviously, I would pick also Fuecoco as #3, because like, I looked at its move pool. It's not the craziest move sets, but it definitely needs a lot of support to make it work, and that's why I think it's maybe the 3rd pick for me out of the 3. So I definitely would rank Quaquaval, Meowscarada, and Fuecroc over there as the 3rd in that order as far as it comes to VGC. But I do think they're all viable. That I will say. I don't think they're all broken in a sense, but I think they're all viable for sure and need to be respected when we get our their hidden abilities, because that's when they get better. You could potentially use Meowscarada, I guess, in the early meta, because if you don't get Moxie right away, Meowscarada will be better than Quaquaval, I guess. So in the early meta, it would probably be Meowscarada over Quaquaval. But as the meta progresses and we get hidden abilities, Quaquaval is probably going to outclass Meowscarada. Not as a 1v1 against the two, just mean like in general team comps. I think Quaquaval will be more relevant than Meowscarada. But I mean, let me know what you think in the comments section below. I might be wrong. I might be missing something. Because like I said, there's been so much information that's come out to cover, and we do have a lot to cover. And there is something I do want to kind of share in this video to a little spotlight. Now, I don't know if anyone has heard this either, and I kind of want to touch upon it because the reason I want to highlight it quite a bit, even though we were mainly going to talk about the starters, but I think there's something worth mentioning here. Apparently, we have a new weather, but not a new weather. If anybody has heard about this, apparently hail is getting an extreme buff. And it's not called hail anymore. And I don't want to go over all of these buffs and nerfs. I just want to touch on this one specific one. And it's I got this from the Smogon forum that pulled all the data for the buffs and the nerfs, and it has it out on the list. And I'm not going to share it out on the video right now because there's a ton of stuff on here that you guys will see and you guys will just go crazy about when you see it. But if you haven't already, I'm going to just refer to this one. So hail is apparently being replaced by snowstorm, which boosts the defense of ice types the same way sandstorm boosts the special defense of rock types. Now this is so cool. And the reason why I think this is so cool is because there are actually a ton, and I mean a ton, of ice types that are coming to Gen 9. A lot of new ice types are going to be in this metagame, and this is what we're going to kind of go over a little bit. These are like what has been leaked already for Gen 9's decks. And I mean, look at the pseudo-legendary, Ice. Look at the, it's not a trio of legends anymore. It's actually a quartet. I could be wrong. I don't know. There's a quad squad. I'm gonna call them that. The quad squad of legendaries. One of them is an ice. All right. And I know there's more ice types. Let's see. There we go. So Titan. Perfect. Yeah. So it's the Titan's coming back, and then just coming back from like the regular standard decks. Also the Paradox, we have an ice type as well. But just going off the standard mons that are coming back from previous generations, we're getting quite a bit of ice types back. Like Obama Snow, for example. We're getting here, we can pull this up. See, look, we're getting Ice Cube, we're getting Obama Snow, we're getting Crabominable, and then what else? Glalie, Frostlass, Cryogonal, Beartick, let's see, what am I missing? Frostmoth with Ice Scales. Imagine Frostmoth with Ice Scales in Snowstorm now that it gets a defense boost. Like and it gets Quiver Dance. If we get Quiver Dance back, this is crazy for a mon like this, and this is why I wanted to discuss it, because the implications for this for ice types makes ice types incredibly better. Ice types have literally gotten a huge buff in my opinion because of this. Look at this freaking I can't remember this block of iceberg thing's name because I've never used it, but this mon gets better because of that, and it already has a very high defense stat and HP stat already as it is. Glaceon gets a buff, Weavile gets a buff, Delibird gets a buff. Like, all of these ice types now benefit from this new change in weather so much so that this could change how ice types become more relevant. Because before, ice type was literally the worst type in the game. And don't get me wrong, I think it's not broken now, but it's definitely a big buff where it makes them more more relevant and something to respect. Because like we don't know what the new Gen 9 ice types kind of can do. Well, some of us do and some of us don't. But we don't know entirely what they could potentially do with their partners with this kind of ability. But I think like Obama Snow is going to be incredibly relevant in the metagame for ice mons and ice teams if we're going to run those. Because we definitely can see those coming out more now because of this weather change. And the other thing that I want to kind of confirm, because they kind of don't highlight it in that leak in the data mine, is if Blizzard is still going to be 100% accurate in Snowstorm the same way it was in Hail. I think personally it will still be 100% accurate in Snowstorm. But you guys let me know what you think. I really want to get feedback from you guys about everything that we've covered today, because I'm really interested to see what you guys think, and if you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and give me your thoughts, and if you guys want to see more things like this, because I really do want to keep talking about stuff like this, because I think this generation is going to be probably the craziest VDC generation we're gonna have in a very long while, considering that we had a Dynamax coming off of a Dynamax format. I think this thing is going to have so many things changed just because of these little changes that we've already seen. It's going to be so cool. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be for the better for VGC and what we're going to be looking forward to up until restricted formats. But we're not going to touch on restricted in this video, but just a little teaser, there are a lot of things coming out about everything in the data mines for not only standard decks, regional decks mons, and the paradox mons, and the new Gen 9 mons. There's also a lot of stuff coming about restricteds too. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want to talk about in the comment section below. I'm really excited. Let me know what you guys think about Snowstorm. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you guys think about the starters, their signature moves, their abilities, everything that you think that it means and might implicate in the metagame. I want to hear it all, because hearing that from you guys is going to influence the next thing I'm going to cover in the next video. So if you do enjoy, like I said, please drop a like, comment, or subscribe. It is amazing. Helps your boy out greatly. It's free, costs you nothing, and means the world to me. All right. But yeah, I will be ending it there, guys. I will hopefully catch you guys on the next one. This is John Zeus signing off. Peace.